20s working at a noodle shop in a small rural town. I've always been awkward and bad at communicating. In elementary school, I was so shy that I couldn't even make eye contact with people, and I'd hide in the back when taking group photos. Because of my extreme social anxiety, I didn't have many friends. My hobby, if you could call it that, was discovering the deliciousness of noodles in high school and going on noodle eating tours. That's how I stumbled upon four-leaf clover noodles and its owner, Bob. It was the first time I was moved by the taste of noodles. I wanted to convey my feelings to Bob. But on my first visit, all I could do was stare at him from the counter without managing to say anything before leaving. The simple soup had a well-balanced flavor, and the ingredients really stood out. The taste was rich, with a pleasant aftertaste. The noodles and soup were a perfect match. It was a simple yet heartwarming dish that made you want to come back for more. I kept going back, again and again. One day, I noticed a sign on the door of the shop that said, "Help Wanted." With my heart pounding, I mustered up all my courage and opened the door to the shop. Despite my awkwardness, I managed to convey my feelings about the shop to Bob. And so, I became a part-time worker at his noodle shop. I was 17 at the time. I don't have any parents. My dad passed away from a heart attack when I was 3. According to my mom, we said good night as usual and slept together, but by morning, he had already passed away. Heart attacks are often thought of as an older person's disease, but they can happen to people in their 30s too. Then, when I was 14 and in 8th grade, my mom lost her battle with breast cancer and passed away. After she died, my aunt, my mom's older sister, took me in. I wanted to live on my own after graduating high school, so I mentioned it to Olivia, Bob's wife, during a break at work. When Bob and Olivia learned about my situation, they offered to let me live and work there as a full-time employee. That's how I ended up working every day at the noodle shop I love the most in the world. The welcoming atmosphere of the shop is largely thanks to Olivia. Bob, like me, is quiet and not very talkative. On the other hand, Olivia is cheerful and always has a bright smile. She handles all the customer service, and it seems that many customers are fans of Olivia as much as they are of Bob's noodles. The two of them make the perfect team. I aspire to make noodles like Bob someday. I also deeply admire the fun, smiling relationship that Bob and Olivia have.
Thank you for the meal.
Thank you for coming. You filled your stamp card, so your next mini fried rice is free. We issue stamp cards at our shop, 1 stamp per visit, and after 10 stamps, you get a free mini fried rice. Our fried rice is also delicious and popular, so the stamp card system is well received.
Tom, you're doing great.
Oh, Auntie. My aunt, who works as a nurse at a nearby hospital, sometimes comes to see me.
Look at that, 10 stamps. Lucky me.
She left with a smile. My aunt has a straightforward personality and kept a comfortable distance when we lived together. I am truly grateful to her. Thinking back to my days with Aunt Jenny, I was sweating and running back and forth between the dining area and the kitchen. One day, I was working at Bob's noodle shop as usual when I met Amy for the first time. It was about 15 minutes before closing time. The customers had stopped coming unusually early, so Bob and Olivia had left early, leaving me alone in the shop. I had finished the dishes and was almost done cleaning the kitchen. I stepped outside to take down the shop curtains when I saw a somewhat suspicious mother and daughter standing in front of the shop. What were they doing out so late? I couldn't help but stare at them curiously. The woman, who seemed to be the mother, wasn't carrying a bag. I didn't see any small bag or wallet either. The child with her, who appeared to be her daughter, was very young, about 3 or 4 years old. The little girl had a single tear on her cheek, as if she had been crying. I noticed her small, adorable hand holding a familiar-looking ticket. Wait, isn't that one of our stamp cards? But I didn't recognize this mother and daughter. Maybe they came when I wasn't here. Welcome. Amy noticed me and looked startled. She looked exhausted, but her clear, beautiful eyes made my heart skip a beat.
Oh, sorry. I heard we could get noodles with this stamp card.
Actually, it was for a mini fried rice, but... As I was wondering what to do, the little girl, who was called Emma, held out the crumpled stamp card to me.
Emma, the shop is already closed for today. Let's come back tomorrow.
Amy seemed to be worried about the closing time. Emma looked at me with tears in her eyes. I squatted down in front of Emma and took the crumpled stamp card from her. Sure enough, it had 10 stamps. I checked the date next to the 10th stamp. Was it today? Did you get this card from a slender woman in her 40s?
Yes, that's right. Is it not okay to use it?
Amy looked down, apologetic. That was probably my aunt.
What?
I couldn't help but smile. Come on in.
But it's past closing time.
It's fine. Awkward as I was, I probably didn't say enough, but I guided them inside while still holding the shop curtains. Amy hesitated to enter, but Emma's eyes lit up as she ran inside.
Hey, wait, Emma.
Can I sit here?
Sure.
Yay. Mom, come on.
Emma was so carefree, and Amy kept apologizing repeatedly. Amy explained that they lived in an apartment near the noodle shop, and every time they passed by, they smelled the delicious aroma. Lately, every time they walked by, Emma would throw a tantrum, shouting,
I want noodles. I want noodles.
That morning, as Emma was crying for noodles, my aunt, who was coming out of the noodle shop, handed her the stamp card and said,
Here, use this.
My aunt loves kids, so she must have been smiling when she did it. I realized how tough it is for parents with young children. Since Bob and Olivia weren't around that day, I had some flexibility. Even though it was past closing time, I headed into the kitchen to make a mini fried rice. Emma's excited demeanor and Amy's nervousness were complete opposites, and watching them from the kitchen amused me. Here you go, sorry for the wait.
Wow. It looks so yummy.
Emma was overjoyed with the mini fried rice served on a modestly sized plate. I also prepared a spoon and an extra plate for her. Amy thanked me and apologized for just ordering the mini fried rice. Don't worry about it at all. With that, I continued tidying up the kitchen and checking inventory. When I peeked into the dining area, I saw Amy serving Emma some fried rice, but it was clear that Amy had much less on her plate. Emma, not noticing at all, quickly devoured her portion. Still hungry, Emma stared at Amy's fried rice.
You can eat it.
With a warm gaze and a gentle voice, Amy placed her fried rice in front of Emma. Had Amy even had a single bite? She hadn't, yet she was looking at Emma with such joy. Watching the two share the mini fried rice, I returned to the kitchen and turned on the stove. Then, I placed a large bowl of noodles in front of Amy.
Oh, what is this?
Amy was surprised and looked at me with wide eyes. Emma, with her chipmunk-like cheeks, stared at the noodles in awe. Please, enjoy it.
But, I'm sorry, I don't have any money with me today.
It's okay. Just be careful, it's hot.
But,
Today we didn't have many customers, so we have extra noodles and pork. Please don't worry about it.
yay. Thank you.
Emma took a bite of the noodles and exclaimed,
It's delicious.
with a big smile, placing her hands on her cheeks. Mom, eat while it's hot.
Thank you. It's so good. I've never had such a gentle noodles before. I don't know how to describe it, but it's just incredibly delicious.
A while later, Emma, full and content, fell asleep on Amy's lap. If you'd like, you can use the seating area to rest. It'd be safer for her.
Oh, no, that's okay. We'll manage. Oh,
Emma, trying to roll over, nearly fell off Amy's lap, prompting her to grab Emma's body in a hurry.
actually, yes, could we use the seating area?
I smiled and guided them there.
Thank you for everything.
Amy laid Emma down, then returned to the table and resumed eating her noodles. I made some tea as usual and brought it over to Amy.
Thank you.
Were you out for a walk today?
A walk? No, I work at a nursing home, and I finish around this time.
I see.
I don't have anyone to watch Emma, so I bring her to work with me.
Is that allowed?
They understand my situation, and it's a small facility, so we manage.
She explained that there were shifts from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m., but she had to give up on those because Emma wasn't a morning person, so now she worked the late shift from noon to 9 p.m.
Actually, my husband passed away from an illness when Emma was a baby.
What?
I don't have anyone to rely on. So, I really want to work more, but it's difficult.
At that moment, I thought, why not have her work here? If it's okay, could you come back here tomorrow?
Tomorrow. I have work again, so it would be late. Is that alright?
That's fine. See you tomorrow then. Beside Amy, who tilted her head in curiosity, Emma had woken up. Still sleepy, she rubbed her eyes.
Thank you so much for today.
Amy said as she picked up Emma. Emma clung to Amy and fell asleep again. The next day, I arrived early in the morning to prepare the shop for opening. Recently, Olivia's back pain had gotten worse, and we were talking about hiring someone to help with customer service. Amy could work from the time Emma woke up, and during Emma's nap, she could sleep in the seating area. Besides, Olivia loves children, so this plan might work. Just as I was thinking this, Bob and Olivia arrived.
Good morning, Tom.
Morning.
Good morning. Feeling a bit nervous, I said. Bob, Olivia, can I talk to you for a minute? It's about the part-time job we discussed the other day. I told them about what happened last night and shared the plan I had thought of.
Oh, that's a great idea. I love kids, and it would be fun to play with her.
Sounds good to me.
Said Bob, making me sigh with relief. They're coming back tonight, so I'll talk to them then.
Really? I'll wait too.
But I haven't mentioned this to them yet.
I wonder what she's like. I'm looking forward to meeting her.
As closing time approached and the last customer left, Amy and Emma appeared at the entrance.
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Nice to meet you. I'm Olivia. You must be Amy and Emma. Tom told me about you.
Olivia's warm smile softened the atmosphere.
This grumpy guy is our owner and my husband.
Olivia laughed, while Bob calmly nodded to Amy.
Tom, bring it over.
I brought out the noodles from the kitchen. Don't be shy, have a seat. You must be hungry.
Okay.
Overwhelmed by Olivia's energy, Amy sat down as told.
Emma, what a cute name. How old are you?
I'm 3.
Adorable. About the job you mentioned yesterday, we're actually looking for a part-timer right now.
What?
Tom told us your situation. It would really help us if you could work here. My back pain has gotten worse, and standing is hard for me. Of course, Emma can come with you.
Olivia looked at Emma with a warm gaze.
We had a child too, once. He died in an accident when he was 4.
This was the first I'd heard of this. Bob and Olivia had always said they didn't have children.
So having Emma around would make me happy too.
Amy, with tears in her eyes, listened intently to Olivia's story. Amy, what do you think? It would be a better working environment than what you have now.
We can discuss the hours and find the best solution for both you and Emma.
Amy began to cry like a child, tears streaming down her face. Olivia and I exchanged glances, and Bob quietly returned to the kitchen.
Amy, you've been doing your best all alone, haven't you?
Yes.
It's okay now.
Olivia hugged Amy tightly. Seeing Olivia's warm embrace almost made me tear up too.
I want more.
Emma's cheerful voice echoed through the shop.
Good job.
Bob said as he emerged from the kitchen, smiling gently, a look I had never seen on his face before. He refilled Emma's plate and handed it to her.
Eat up and grow big and strong.
Okay, I will.
Bob's large hand patted Emma's head as she beamed with joy. Witnessing this scene, I was moved by the kindness of Bob and Olivia. I really love working with these warm-hearted people. 2 weeks later, Amy started working part-time at 4-Leaf Clover Noodles.
Welcome.
Amy's bright and cheerful demeanor quickly won over the regular customers. She got along well with Olivia and Bob, and she learned the job quickly. I was impressed by her intelligence and efficiency. Emma, wanting to help Amy, wore an apron and walked around the shop, charming the customers.
4. 4-leaf clover.
Yes, 4-leaf clover noodles. Emma, you can read well. That's amazing.
What's a 4-leaf clover?
Have you ever seen it? It's a magical plant with 4 leaves.
Magic?
They say it brings happiness to those who find it.
Wow.
Would everyone be happy if we found one?
Where can we find it?
Maybe in a grassy area.
As Amy and Emma chatted, Amy kept moving around with a smile on her face. When the shop was less busy, she would go to Emma, pat her head, talk to her, and look at her lovingly as she slept soundly after work. Even when I offered to carry Emma on my back, Amy insisted.
It's okay. I want to hold her. Someday she'll be too big for me to do this.
The more I worked with Amy, the more I grew to like her. One day, Amy burst into the shop in a panic, looking extremely worried. Amy? I thought you had the day off.
I can't find Emma anywhere.
What? Amy was in tears and seemed very confused.
Calm down, Amy. Have you called the police? The police? Oh, no, I haven't. I'll call them right now.
Olivia said, rushing to the phone to call the police.
What do I do, Tom?
Amy, calm down. Did Emma say anything before she went missing?
Anything. Oh, yes.
She remembered taking Emma to the library since it was her day off. At the library, Emma had asked.
Which one is the 4-leaf clover?
4-leaf clover. It's probably white clover. See, this one.
It has 3 leaves.
Sometimes it has 4 leaves, and that's called a 4-leaf clover. Maybe you can find it in a park.
Suddenly, Amy's eyes widened in realization.
Could she have gone looking for a 4-leaf clover?
A 4-leaf clover.
Oh, that park. I'll go check it out.
Amy suddenly ran out of the shop, and I instinctively followed her. Hey, wait! I glanced back at the shop in a panic. Sorry, Bob, I need to go. Bob waved at me from the kitchen. I ran after Amy, who was getting smaller in the distance. After a while, Amy's pace slowed. There was an old housing complex with a small park behind it. I remembered playing there once with friends when I was in elementary school. The park had a slide and a sandbox, but it was too simple for elementary school kids, so we only played there once. The park was overgrown with grass and seemed rarely used.
Ah,
Amy suddenly ran and then stopped abruptly. In the overgrown grass, there was the small figure of a child.
Emma.
When Amy called out, the child turned around.
Emma.
Amy hugged Emma tightly.
I was so worried.
Mom, you're hurting me.
Emma started to cry again. Seeing Amy in tears, Emma looked puzzled.
If something happened to you, I wouldn't know what to do.
Sorry.
Emma patted Amy's head with her small, cute hand. But Emma, what were you doing here? Emma's face lit up.
Look.
She held 3 4-leaf clovers in her hand.
Look. I found this many. But I can't find one more.
One more.
This one's for Mom, this one's for Tom, and this one's for Olivia. But I can't find one for Bob.
You were looking for one for everyone.
Just one more. I'll find it.
This could take a while. After all, finding a 4-leaf clover is said to be a 1 in 10,000 chance, a mutation of the white clover. They're often found in places trampled by people or dogs, so maybe kids play here more than I thought. I sat next to Emma and started searching through the grass.
Tom, you're going to help too.
Yeah. We need to find it so we can get back to the noodle shop.
Okay.
Emma beamed at me. With tears still on her cheeks, Amy also started searching for the last 4-leaf clover next to Emma. The 3 of us sat silently, staring at the grass.
Oh, I found it.
Of course, it was Emma who found the last one.
Now everyone can be happy.
Seeing Emma's biggest smile, Amy and I looked at each other and couldn't help but laugh. Amy, Emma, and I hurried back to the noodle shop. In front of the shop, Olivia was anxiously waiting, and Bob was talking to a police officer. Bob had taken down the shop curtain even though we were still supposed to be open. The moment Olivia saw Emma, she cried out and hugged her, tears streaming down her face. Bob, too, had tears in his eyes, something I had never seen before. Later, Olivia told me that when Emma went missing, it reminded her of the day their daughter had an accident, filling her with fear that the same thing might happen again. Bob didn't say anything at the time, but Olivia said that after I ran out of the shop to follow Amy, he couldn't focus on his work, dropping and breaking a bowl and messing up orders. They had to close the shop early.
I'm so sorry for all the trouble I've caused.
Amy kept apologizing, but Olivia hugged her tightly.
Don't think of it as trouble. I'm just so glad Emma is back.
Tears streamed down Amy's face again.
We're like family now.
Let's go inside.
Wait, everyone. Here you go, here.
Emma handed each of us a 4-leaf clover.
What's this?
Emma went to the park alone to find 4-leaf clovers for us.
Is that so?
A 4-leaf clover. Our daughter loved them too.
Our late daughter loved looking for 4-leaf clovers. We used to search for them together.
Is that how Yatsoba ramen got its name?
We received so much happiness from her, so we wanted to pass that happiness on to others. We named the shop 4-leaf clover noodles, hoping that our ramen would bring happiness like a 4-leaf clover.
Hey, the noodles are ready.
Inside, the aroma of delicious noodles filled the air. We all sat down to enjoy them, feeling warm and comforted. One night after closing, Amy finished wiping the tables and approached me.
Tom, I need to talk to you.
What? Talk. Caught off guard, I quickly washed and dried my soapy hands. Talk about what? Amy blushed and looked at me.
Before you spoke to me, nothing was going right. But that day, your kindness and those noodles saved me. When Emma went missing, your face was the first that came to mind.
Tears welled up in Amy's eyes, and she wiped them away.
You were the one who saved me.
That's not true.
Now, I want to support you, Tom.
What?
I've fallen in love with you, Tom. Will you marry me?
What? What? Really? My heart felt like it was going to burst.
Is that a no?
Amy looked worried. No, it's not that. I've always wanted to be with you too. I hugged her tightly. I love you too, Amy. Please marry me.
Yes.
Tom, are you going to marry her?
I almost jumped out of my skin. Emma, were you listening? You're going to be my daughter.
Tom's child.
Tom will be your dad.
Daddy.
When I was called Dad for the first time, I felt a bit shy and embarrassed. But seeing Emma's beaming smile as she said, Daddy, made me feel determined to protect her from now on. The next day, I was on the late shift, starting at the same time as Amy, and it was too busy to report our news to Bob and Olivia. Once the lunchtime rush settled, Olivia, who was playing with Emma in the seating area, let out aloud.
What?
Sorry for the late notice. We're getting married. Olivia's joy at that moment was truly amazing. She raised her arms in celebration multiple times, crying.
I'm so happy.
And wiping her tears on Bob's shirt. Bob smiled gently and nodded repeatedly. And so, Amy, Emma, and I became a family. I also reported the news to my aunt. The next day, she came to the shop and said,
Amy, if Tom ever makes you cry, let me know and I'll give him a good talking to.
And laughed. Then she said,
Tom, make sure you take good care of Amy. Congratulations.
Her words made me genuinely happy. In the future, I want to make noodles like Bob does, bringing more and more smiles to our customers. I vow to repay Bob and Olivia for all they've done for me and to always protect the smiles of Amy and Emma.